Welcome back to another Sunhaven video. Today I'm going to show you combat, and specifically range combat in Sunhaven. When I first released a Sunhaven video about whether or not the game was worth it in early access, a lot of you asked for some combat tips and just a general overview of how combat works in this game. So today I'm going to specialize in using a crossbow to show you how you can get through all of the baddies in the game as well as the final boss. As far as Sunhaven goes, there are three main ways to fight. There is the mage path here, the melee path here, the ranged weaponry path here, and then this last one is for shields and health. So I would recommend picking one of the first three and then putting your extra skill points as you get them into the bottom one here. You can of course jump between putting a skill point in whatever you want to excel in and then the health one too, but this is how I prefer to do it. I'm going to make some other videos on melee as well as spell casting, but today we're going to focus on the archery / crossbow section. Appropriately, we are currently in Nelvari, which is the Elven town. I'm currently playing the 0.4 update, which is why I have a farm in Nelvari as well, but Nelvari is where you're going to find the strongest crossbow in the game. Since the 0.4 update, you're going to have to do a lot of questing before you can unlock Nelvari, which I've shown in a previous video, but all the combat stuff I'm going to show you today is mostly about crossbow fighting in general, so you don't necessarily need the, the best crossbow ever, but I'm going to go ahead and grab it because we are going to fight the final boss today. Look at this cute little crossbow store, it's so cute. This is RelTar, and RelTar sells the best crossbow you've got. That's my mark, easily. I call it that because it hasn't missed a target yet. It's more of a relic now though, haven't needed to use that one in some time. What do you mean by that? I used to fall into some dangerous work in a previous lifetime. My mark made a bit of a reputation for itself in my travels. Heck, most people knew of RelTar's mark before they even knew me. And so RelTar apparently doesn't need his crossbow anymore, but we do. So we're just gonna, take that. This did cost 1,000. I'm forgetting the name of this currency now. What is this currency? Mana orb. So you will have to grind a bit to be able to afford that. I have the sad news of telling you that I grinded to get, I think, 500 mana orbs, and then with this patch update, it was increased to 1,000. So, I mean, it was sad, but we're here now. The crossbow that I had previously is called the heavy crossbow. I don't remember where I grabbed this. I think it was somewhere in Sunhaven. It was pretty accessible, and the one we just grabbed is RelTar's mark. So this one says an unwieldy beast of a crossbow. It fires slow, but whatever you hit is going to get all sorts of hurt. Left click to shoot arrow, right click to cast arrow storm. Both of those have that. I'm gonna grab both into my speed bar so we can take a look at the difference here. So this is the heavy crossbow, and I do have fire arrows. We're gonna go over the tree in a moment. So we're shooting 3 fire arrows pretty quickly. If I click repeatedly, this is the speed at what we're going. And then RelTar's, okay. Didn't it say it was supposed to be slower? This is much faster. It fires slow, but whatever you hit is going to get all sorts of hurt. Okay, well, this is much faster and way more arrows. So that's definitely going to help us a lot. Let's jump into our combat skills before we actually fight anything. So when you first start Sunhaven, you're going to go through some quests, etc., etc. And back in your original town of Sunhaven, you are eventually given the choice of taking a sword or a crossbow as your very first weapon. Don't feel too pressured by this. You can buy one or the other, whichever one you're missing, or you can switch when you don't like one later. So just choose whichever one you're interested in. Obviously, we're going to start with the crossbow this time. I am going to stay on this account just because, all the grinding is not that fun to watch. But as you start fighting things, you will acquire skill points, which I have 0 of right now, and you can use those to plop them into whatever skill tree you want. You do have to purchase skills in the order that they are placed in each row, but you can go into different rows if you would like to spread yourself out. I don't recommend splitting your skill points between different rows just because the monsters do get a little difficult. They get a little closer to you in level. I'm level, what level am I now? 12 or something? So I do recommend maxing something out, or at least focusing on 2 as you start. The very first skill that you can get for ranged attacks is called Ranger. It increases the damage of all your attacks by 1 to 3. Double shot is next. It increases arrows fired per shot by 1 and increases the speed of all ranged projectiles by 15%. Hot shot gives you flaming arrows and some burning damage. Victorious Insight gives you combat experience by slaying monsters, so this can help you basically skill faster. Triple shot increases arrow fired per shot by 1 and increases the speed of all ranged projectiles by 25%. Sharpshooter increases the chances of dealing a critical strike by 10%, increases damage accuracy of all attacks by 20%. Ferocity increases your critical strike damage by 5%, stacks up to 6 times, and lasts 30 seconds and refreshes on a critical hit. And finally, the last skill in this row is called Arrow Storm. This Arrow Storm spell, it can be cast from any crossbow, raining down a volley of magical arrows on enemies. So one thing you should note about Arrow Storm, the spell, is that you have to use it when you're equipped with a crossbow, and you use it by clicking the right mouse button. This is very different from anything in the row for mages up here. Mage spells as well as farming spells are equipped in these slots for Q and R, and you do so by hovering and then clicking which spell you want in what section. But it can be a little confusing if you haven't really tried a crossbow before, because you'll try to get your Arrow Storm into the Q or R and it's just not there. All you have to do to make sure that you can do your Arrow Storm is hover over whichever crossbow you're going to be using and then right click, and that's your Arrow Storm. For the sake of you all knowing what's up, I'm going to redo a little bit of the skills I have down in this armor section. So I have Padded Armor, which increases armor by 4, Vigor, which increases health regeneration by 0.2, blah, blah, blah. Vigor, which regenerates 0.2 health every second and is increased by 200% when I'm not moving. Reinforced Armor, which is plus 3 armor and additionally takes 15% less damage from monsters. I don't have the other ones in the row right now, and we can look at those in another video maybe, but one thing to note is that this very last one in the armor row is called Leadership. And this casts a buff to increase defense of all players on the same map by 15 and heals them for 1 health every second. This lasts for 10 minutes. So if you're in a co-op party, if you're playing this game with other people, this might be something that you want someone to kind of not rush to, but at least focus on, because, you know, we all need some help. Now that you know what a crossbow build might look like when you are many hours into the game, you know, not completely done, but pretty far into it, I'm going to show you a little bit of some general combat before we get into the boss fight. So first, I'm fast traveling to Sunhaven because I don't want to walk through all of Nelvari. And now I'm going to go over to Withergate. There are lots of places where you can grind out some combat experience, but I do prefer the Withergate forests just because it's a little bit more accessible from your Sunhaven farm. The Nelvari fast travel is still a new thing to the game, so I'm not quite used to using that. You also want to make sure that you're using a mount if and when you can, just because it makes you go much faster. I know it's the combat guide, but once you get to this unlocked skill and exploration, you gain 5% bonus movement speed when mounted, and that really just ends up making it way better to ride a mount versus air skip everywhere. Once I'm in this forest area next to Withergate, the name of which I have forgotten, I like to go into this kind of, it's either the second or third square of the map. This is where I like to fight everything to grind my levels out, and I will show you why. So I like to aggro this camp, and I like to aggro the one next to them too, but I accidentally killed them. And then when I come down this way, as you can see, they kind of get stuck behind this tree. So this might not be a thing in the future, who knows, but I like that they're stuck here because I can either hit them from afar with my crossbow, or before I really decided I wanted this to be a crossbow run. I know I'm getting smacked. Stop hitting me. You can actually trap them there and smack them with your sword pretty easily without taking too much damage. So I just literally sneak up here and go smack. There we go. And I would literally just grind here, getting my levels. This is a level 10 camp, level 7. I think this was level 9 or something. So they're not the most difficult things, but I think it's a good medium between dying too much and getting your levels up. So this is the heavy crossbow. You can buy this in Sunhaven, I believe, and I'm doing like a pretty decent amount of damage, but that's also just because my stats are pretty high. So if you take a look, I have a 35 attack, 79 defense, because I have all of the fanciest Sunite armor and stuff, but it's not anywhere close to RelTar's crossbow. As you can see, when I'm hitting them here, they're taking some burn damage. That's the 1 damage showing up after I smack them. And really the takeaway when you're using a crossbow is to keep your distance, don't let them get on top of you, and kite them. Kiting is very important no matter what kind of combat you are relying on in your run. And one of the reasons why I really like the crossbow, particularly if you are newer to the game, is because it gives you a little bit more leeway. If you mess up your kiting, you can still survive longer, especially compared to the sword. Something to keep in mind with Sunhaven combat, no matter what weapon you're using, is that your attack will face in the direction that your mouse is facing. So if I'm walking to the left here and I click on the right, I still attack the phantom on the right of me, not the left. So we're gonna do it again. I'm gonna walk to the left, but I'm gonna click toward the phantom and she turns to attack on that side. This is the same as the sword. So if I'm walking this way, but I click on the left, they get attacked. If I'm walking down and I click up, she attacks on the up. If if I'm going right and I click on the left, she attacks on the left. I do think this is a little different from other games. It's not bad, and I think it's actually might be better for someone like me who likes to look in one direction while I'm moving in another direction. Overall, there isn't too much to talk about in terms of Sunhaven combat once you get used to how each weapon works and what kind of upgrades you can get. I know this looks very easy right now, and that's because it's not the most complicated system, but also because I just have a character that's like very much leveled right now. So if you're thinking this is too hard, I promise it's not too hard. And if you think that I am just really bad at this, well, sorry. Once you get used to it, it's not too bad, especially as you are getting stronger and stronger the more you level up here. Height to make sure that you're not taking too much damage, keep track of where your character is, and keep in mind that you don't actually have to worry about which direction you're facing. You're gonna basically use two parts of your brain, one to make sure that your character is out of the damage area, and one to make sure that you are clicking in the right spot to attack. And I promise the crossbow is where you wanna start. Cool, now that you know a little bit of the basics of crossbow, we're gonna jump ahead and fight the final boss of Sunhaven. I'm kind of assuming that this is the final boss of the whole game. I'm not... That could change, I guess. So in the previous update of Sunhaven, that's the 0.3 update, Confronting Dynus was unlocked. Dynus is the big dragon in Withergate. This is the monster city we're in right now. And you can kind of appease him in many ways. You can either give him a bunch of offerings and hope that he loves you, or, you know, decides to not spread darkness everywhere, or you can confront him to a duel. I believe Dynus is supposed to be the big bad, the big final boss of Sunhaven the game. I believe that the devs added his interactions because, you know, we kind of already had a little bit of the main story, but more of the story is being added that you're supposed to do in between, such as going to Nelvari and training before you actually fight Dynus. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final fight, and we're just going to test our combat against it. All right, welcome to Dynus. I can sense your tenacity. Ah, Elias's pupil. I've heard of your accomplishments, Fae. Now you finally come. You took your time. Now that you're here, what is it that you want? Why are you spreading darkness? You came all this way to ask me that. What a waste of time. All right, so I'm actually going to skip the dialogue here. If you would like to read it, let me know, or you could slow it down, I'm sure. But I don't want to ruin it by reading it out too much. But Dynus is absolutely gorgeous, and look at this beautiful like star background. I can't get over it. All right, so before we start the official fight here, I am rearranging a little bit of what's on my hotbar menu. I have RelTar's Mark Crossbow, and remember, we're gonna hit right click to do the arrow storm. I also have Shimmerroot treats, which increase 100 health and 200 mana. This is literally the best food item in the game right now. You can make these by growing Shimmerroots as well as Cinnaberries, and then just, you know, making them yourself. I have a mount here, but I don't think that I'm actually gonna be able to use it, so I'm going to put mana potions here instead. The mana potions heal about 90 mana, which isn't as good as the Shimmerroot treats, but you know, it's something that I have. And let's go ahead and see how this goes. Okay, we're gonna get on our mount. That's good. I need to heal. Oh, I can eat when I'm on my mount, but I can't attack when I'm on the mount. Okay. So I'm doing a lot of arrow storms because why the heck not? I do wish that I had a better understanding of where my things were on my hotbar. There we go. I'm on my mount now. I'm gonna attack. Okay, I'm gonna mount. I've got a heal. I can eat my mount, but I can't attack my mount. So I know arrow storm because why I'm not. I do wish I had a better understanding of where I think where my hotbar is. I don't know. Okay. We're not damage, but I don't know about this. This is more anything else. Your reality is under my control, given to my will. I have 1 hour to beat you! Oh no! What is this? The heck? Do I have to hit these things? Oh, he's healing. Oh, I have to mine these. There. Okay, okay. I have to mine those things so that he doesn't heal. There we go. Oh my. All right. Well, not answered. So you can pass out at midnight from fighting when you're in the middle of a boss fight. I but it's fine. It's 6:10 a.m. and I think we could get him today. I was hoping to show y'all this Dynus fight as kind of like a bonus to just my general combat tips. But to be honest, the boss fight isn't really representative of the rest of the fighting in Sunhaven, in my opinion. This is just a lot of dodging. I have heard that there is a bug, by the way, so those stones that were healing Dynus, I'm assuming I'm supposed to actually hit them with a pickaxe, but I tried that and it didn't work. And so what I did was, in the middle of the fight, I switched to Vacuumulus, which is the spell over here. And this is something that a lot of people use to mine. It destroys rocks just like a pickaxe would. But because I couldn't get the rock and I was in the middle of the fight, I was like, oh, the spell would be faster. But there is, or at least there was, a bug that prevented you from using a pickaxe on those rocks too. So I would recommend just taking this if you're going to do this fight. Just because I don't know if the bug is fixed. It might be. And that spell is actually in mining, I want to say. Yep, it's all the way up here in mining. But that shouldn't be a problem to get since this takes like 5 skill points to get here. So yeah, that's what I was doing. And of course, now that I know that's a thing, I'm going to be taking that with me. And I think I'm going to be switching my Shimmerroot traits and this Lion Mount whistle. I just don't think that the mount was as helpful as I thought it was. But yeah, let's try this again. It's 6:50 a.m. We should have enough time this time. Here we go. I am just kind of tanking these attacks. It's pretty bad. There we go. Oh, those ones that just take your mana. Oh, no. That's my spell. I thought he hit me and took my mana with an attack, but no. There is no hope. Dark minions come forth from the shadows. Okay. I like how these little minions still drop items. Your reality is under my control, given to my will. like if I just stand here. they mostly miss me. Well, not those, but... right when I say that. Oh god. Enough. This can't be. It must be a trick. I am the most powerful being in the world, yet you are mightier than expected. And for such a tiny creature, Fae, you fight with the tenacity of a dragon. Perhaps I underestimated you. However, the darkness spell drains my energy. Were we to fight at my full power, surely you would bow to me then. Lucky for you, I cannot release my spell of darkness, so for now I must offer a stalemate. I will agree to cease the spread of my darkness, but I will keep my crystal hoard to maintain the darkness over Withergate. I welcome a rematch with you, little warrior. Come fight me again if you crave the sport, but know that I won't be holding back. Yay! Okay, so we kind of beat Dynus, I guess. I'm assuming this is the end of the combat for now, probably for this quest. So look at these bonus rewards. So we get combat, exploration, tickets, coins, and then you can either get a glorite sword, a Dynus victory trophy, a Dynus plushie, or a wishing well. We only get one. You know I want the plushie. I'm taking the plushie. This is probably the worst choice. My plushie! I'm so excited about my... Where's my plushie? Oh, thank goodness. I thought it was gone for a moment. Oh, it's huge! I like how he just had a plushie himself. Alright, I think we're going to wrap up the guide here on crossbow / ranged attacks in Sunhaven. I hope that this helped you a little bit on your combat journey. The combat in Sunhaven is not the most complicated thing, but it is a little bit difficult to master if you are maybe like me and not the best at fighting games. If anything, I hope this shows you a little bit of where you can end up with a little bit of dodging and some very, very strong equipment. Again, I am currently equipped with all of the Sunite gear here. We have RelTar's crossbow and just everything that you could possibly dream of in terms of crossbow stuff right now. So don't fear if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you're gonna get there eventually. I do have videos for melee and mage attacks in the works as well. In the meantime, go check out my Sunhaven video playlist linked below. I have a bunch of guides in Sunhaven that I'm a little bit more of an expert on, so I hope you enjoy those. Have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye!